Hey, what's up? This is Dr. Tekemia Dorsey on the IABT Morning Show, live again here today. Well, if you tuned in yesterday, I gave you a few tips for back to school. You know, this is the time of the year where there's a lot of anxiety going on, there's a lot of fear, a lot of panic, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of exploration with no answers. Students, elementary, middle, high, college, internship, job seeking, right now they're being thrust into a whole new environment that they're uncertain of. And the problem that we have as parents, as guardians, as coaches, as individuals that are leading before after school program is that we try to put them in our box, the box of a normal routine that we think they can fit in. But unfortunately, when behavior and acting out and the lack thereof starts happening, we begin to realize that our little norm is not their norm. And the one thing that they have to their advantage and disadvantage in today's time that we didn't have growing up was that of technology, that of having to be able to speak to individuals face to face, learning, building rapport and relationships and learning how to express themselves. So when that happens, they internalize a lot of things. And this is the time of the year, which is the beginning of the school year, whether it's college, elementary, middle, and job seeking is all year long. Internships are happening here in the fall. And this is the time of year that if they don't have tools in their toolbox to help balance out all of these feelings and emotions and things that they're going through, they're gonna explode. And when they explode, any and every person around them suffers from it. And you know, the key, the beginning and the end to most of the solutions is that of their village. Those individuals that help to make them who they are. And as I mentioned in the last segment, which if you haven't watched yet, please go back and take a look at it. You can find it on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/IB Triathletes, is that their village is more than just their home life. You know, the one thing that I hate to hear as an educator, a leader, a consultant, a coach is that it begins and ends at home. Yes, it does. But you got to look at the magnitude of how much time kids that are in primary school and in secondary school actually spend inside the home. And then those kids in college, they're not even home only like maybe 18, 20 weeks out of 365 days. So when you're looking at the totality of those individuals that encompass and help to pour into youth, yes, it begins and ends at home, but there's a wide gap of individuals that influence them before and after school programs, coaching programs, sporting out programs, mentoring programs, one-on-one individual tutoring and training and all of that. So I'm saying all that is that it takes because it takes a village. When you're helping to diffuse the fear, anxiety, the peer pressure, the uncertainty, the exploration and not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring, when they're in disarray, those adults that are around them have to help them to have to give them or at least introduce tools to help them. So yesterday I gave you a tip to help with the back to school blues, and that was data collecting data such as schedules, academic schedules, practice schedules if they're in sports, not just the practice schedules but also the competition schedules. You want to get any traveling team schedules they're a part of. You want to infuse as a parent or guardian, you want to infuse your schedule because you're the person that's responsible for taking them. And especially if you have more than one kid, you have to bring all of your things together. So data collection is very important. And collecting that data helps you to put all of your things in one pile. And just like my kids that came home yesterday with a pile of papers, and this is just from one kid, I had to ask them, and matter of fact, I didn't have to ask them. They gave it to me because they know the routine. Give me all of your papers, because if you don't give it to me now, it's going to be all over the place. So part of that data collection allows you to bring all of the things that you have to that you need to begin a proper organization in one place. And of course, it's going to be manipulated over time, which means that you're going to extract things and you're going to add things. But being able to collect data, schedules, academic, sports, performances, competition, your schedule, days off, all of those things under one thing, into one pile, now allows you to begin to make sense of it all. And before I go into the strategy for today, or the tip for today, is that when you think of all as a parent, and as a coach, or before and after school provider, when you're thinking of all of your kids bringing your stuff to you, how do you feel? Exactly, overwhelmed. So if you're overwhelmed as one person for 2 or 3 kids, or maybe one, with all of their papers and all of your schedules, imagine how that elementary school kid feels when they walk into a whole new building or a whole new classroom with a whole new teacher and a whole new routine, and they're not given structure, or they're not necessarily adapting right away to the environment. Imagine that middle school kid coming from being a cream of the crop in elementary to the bottom of the totem pole in middle school if they're in 6th grade, or just in middle school in general, where now the umbilical cord is cut. And unfortunately, like in elementary where they're given planners, in middle school they're not given planners. They're not given anything to help time management or to organize their day. And in most middle schools and high schools, they're following 7 to 8 periods. So they have an A day and a B day, and they may see math 3 days out the week or 5 days out the week. They may see their English teacher or gifted and talented teacher 2 days out the week, and if they miss a day, then it's like being out of class for a week. So imagine the disruption and the overwhelming that they feel on the first day of school, or the second day of school, or the first week of school. So your job and my job and our job together is to give them tips for success. So my tip today is, once you have collected that data, and again, if you have not gone back to take a look at the segment yesterday, go to www.youtube.com/IABT triathletes and take a look at that segment. And so once you have gathered your data, what you now need are planners. Yes. You have planner 1, planner 2, and planner 3. Exciting, right? And here's why I have 3 planners. Because the planner for my elementary school student, mine personally, because I have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Say 4. I have 4 kids. One is in college. He's already gone through this, so he has a handle over it. But I have an elementary school kid and 2 middle school kids. One in 6th grade, one in 8th grade. And they're on totally different levels. So I have 3 kids on 3 different schedules in 3 different schools across Baltimore County that I have to now bring together under one household. So which means they have some similarities and they have a lot of differences. So for my elementary school kid, I have this very small planner that I'll go into later on this week that really fits for him, because the purpose of this planner is to simply get him acclimated to writing down what's going on in his life. Now the middle school planner, the middle school planner is a little bigger, because now they're following, as I talked about before, A day, B day. They got competition going on, they got sporting, they have all of that. And I also have a planner for myself, and I also have a table planner. And this table wall planner is the larger visual picture that now the entire house can see what's going on. So my tip of the day is, second tip of the day of this week, is that once you have 1, collected data, go back and look at that segment. 2, go get a planner. Now, I happen to go to Office Depot, but you can go to Walmart, you can go to Dollar Store, you can go to Sam's Club, you can go to Staples, you can go to Best Buy, wherever, or you can go the cheap way out. You can print it. I'm not a printer. That's too much paper. I don't want to kill the trees. That's too much work. So your tip of the day is, now that you've collected data, your tip is to get your planner. A planner that's a visual, that's an overall. You can get one planner that's a little more detailed, and I'll go into this later. But you want to choose a planner that's going to make sense for you and the purpose of why you're doing it. And in the meantime, I want you to join me on Saturday, September 16th, 2014 at the Langston Hughes Community Business Resource Center, 5011 Arbutus Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21215 for IABT's Closing the Academic and Unemployment Divide Conference. We're going to go into how to use these tools in addition to setting goals and organizational tips and study habits, and we have a bonus. But you got to show up. So this is Dr. Tekemia Dorsey for your IABT Morning Show with your second tip of the week to overcome the back-to-school blues. And I look forward to seeing you. Now, please pre-register at www.theiabt.org. Check out the link below. And I'll see you on Saturday, September 16th. Until then, have a great day. And remember that all things are possible if you believe.